Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Sedona International Film Festival, where we're coming live from the media room at the Sedona Rouge Hotel and Spa. And Sedona Rouge is one of our sponsors, along with Broadcast Rentals and Sedona Advertising Agency. Thank you to our sponsors for being part of this year's festival. And I would like to introduce to you the filmmaker for All Boys Die. Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Julio Vargas.
And Julio, tell us a little bit about your film before we actually take a look at the clip.
It's a film about a mother trying to fulfill her dying son's last wish. It's a sci-fi drama. It takes place in the future, 2068, in a world where all men have died from an illness and boys die shortly after puberty. And
where did this whole entire concept come from?
Well, I grew up in a single-parent household, my mom and just aunts, and very little men around. So I was always this boy in this female world, and I just wanted to create a story. Like, well, let me make a world that there's just this boy, and nothing's really in his control.
Interesting. Okay, let's take a look at the clip.
Okay.
Where would you like to spend your final moments?
What goes through your mind when you're actually looking at even just the clip of this?
Wow, it's finished. It's amazing. We pulled it off. And I'm very just grateful of the work that everyone involved, what we had to go through, and the actors did a phenomenal job. So it's just gratitude, and grateful to be here and speaking with you. So, yeah.
So is this your first time in Sedona?
Yes, in Sedona. In the festival. It's a beautiful place. It's going to stay in my heart forever. Yeah, it's wonderful.
It had you at hello.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, and then tell me a little bit too. I know you just talked about how this was something that you had thought about as a child growing up in a female household. So writing something like this, how difficult was it to get thoughts down on paper to actually project a film like this?
Well, you stare at that screen for a while. I mean, it was a few weeks before I could write a word, because I had to build this world, and in dealing with sci-fi, I didn't want any logical loopholes or something that would derail my whole world, right? So I had to build the world first, and when it was built and the characters were alive for me, then I could try to make them do things on the paper.
And how long was the actual process, would you say, that it took you to do this?
I would say 7-8 months from the idea to finishing it. Well, before post, to shooting it. Post is a whole nother world, yeah.
Yeah, so when did you know as a child, I mean, growing up in a single-family household, that you wanted to be a filmmaker?
I was in the 8th grade, and one of the teachers there let us use a video camera in this weird part of the basement where we did media stuff. And I remember there was a rubber chicken, and I invented this skit where I was like Julia Child trying to prepare this rubber chicken, and my classmates were cracking up, and I just felt like, you know what, we can entertain with this thing. This isn't just for like home videos or quinceañeras, right? Like we can tell stories with this. So I think that's the moment I wanted to do this.
Mm-hmm. And let's talk just a little bit about your career too along the way. So when was like your first big, production to say, oh, I'm going to enter into film festivals, I'm going to do this? When was your like biggest break, would you say?
To decide to do this? Well, I just graduated from Florida State University and received my Master's of Fine Arts. And I think from there, the world got bigger. Once we realized, okay, we're jumping into this big world of filmmaking. Now what's next? So I started preparing and planning and looking at what's out there and speaking to other filmmakers and just sending the film and taking a shot. And here we are.
Is sci-fi, was that pretty much predominantly what you wanted to do, or were there other genres that you were looking at or doing?
Well, in the past I did documentary. And through documentary, I felt like I was preaching to the choir. And I was like, well, how can I get messages to a broader audience? And I grew up on Star Trek, and I just love sci-fi. And I said, you know what, this is the way to go. And there's not many people from where I'm from doing sci-fi. Like I was born in New York in uptown Manhattan, a Dominican neighborhood, and there's not too many Dominican sci-fi directors. So I feel like, well, maybe I should push some boundaries. Let's try it.
How difficult would you say is it pushing those boundaries? I mean, because nobody has really done it or no one has done that, do you think you're just creating a new road for other people or a new path for other people?
Well, hopefully. I see it as I'm going to do what's in my heart, and I have love for this art form. I love directing and writing and working with actors and being part of a crew. So I don't think about it too much. I just figure, let me do the best that I can do, and hopefully quality work can guide the way for me and others, right? So.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you watch your film back, do you look at it with, oh, I should have made these changes, because typically that's like what happens, or are you pretty much like happy with the way that this was put together?
Well, for me, there's always something I could have done different, better. I could have been X, Y, Z. But as an artist, the hardest part is just learning when to walk away. So once I said, you know what, that's it, picture's locked, the world can see it, I live with it, and I appreciate any comments and feedback, appreciation of the film, because that's the piece of art I created, and now it's on to the next one. Mm-hmm. So I don't dwell too much, because I'd get sick. I mean, I get sick before the thing comes on the screen, and I'm in there, and my stomach's doing 40 backflips. It never ends, but it's part of the process.
And I don't think you're ever really comfortable. I mean, putting together a film or a video or whatever it is, it's just watching it over and over again, and you're thinking, all right, I saw it 150 times already.
Right. I know what's not there. I know, as a director, it's hard to let go of some things, or maybe I didn't execute this, so I had to we're not going to put it in there. I don't like it. Mm-hmm. So I know, but then it's good, because for the next project, I'm a different version of myself, a better, more educated version of myself.
That's a good way to look at it, because you're learning from each step of the way just to be better and better.
Absolutely.
With that.
It's like the rings on a tree, right?
Oh, that's a good analogy. I like that. So how can people find out more about your film?
You can go on Facebook, All Boys Die Film, or on Instagram, All Boys Die Film, with that underscore between the words. They didn't let me write it straight. They thought it was some bad thing. I don't know. It sounds bad. It's fine.
All right, and then is it going to be shown again? It was shown here in Sedona?
Yes, it will show again tonight at 7 in the Other Worlds block. It's also going to be in Pensacon in Pensacola this weekend, their Comic-Con convention, and it will be at the San Diego Latino Film Festival.
All right. Well, we are so glad to have you here at the Sedona Film Festival. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for showing us your film and putting it together for us.
Thank you for having me. It's a wonderful festival. Love
awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And if you're following us on social media, don't forget hashtag Sedona Film Fest 2020 and hashtag Sedona Film Fest 26. That's it for us here in the media room today. I'd like to thank everybody who's involved in the media room and our interns as well. So we will see you again tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining us.